Maul unsurprisingly defends Adin Ross.
And now Maul wants to step in and try to protect Adin Ross from all the backlash that he's receiving by implying that there's far more worse people that should get more backlash, that should get more punished than Adin Ross himself. This is ridiculous, bro. At this point, what in the world is going on? Why is somebody like Maul trying to defend Adin Ross and his action towards Doechii? It doesn't make any sense, especially when Adin Ross is going at people of color, going at a black woman. Somebody like Maul trying to defend Adin Ross by saying there's other people of color that we should punish. That doesn't make sense. They're trying to run with narratives in the space that we own. And you're out here defending them by saying that there's people just like us that deserve more of a punishment than Adin Ross. That is ridiculous when I hear Maul try to defend this. And he says this in this clip. We're going to watch it right now.
He got bodyguards and security and all that shit.
That makes before Adin Ross, it's other black people that need to get punched in their face.
That is crazy. After all the disrespect that Adin Ross has done, after all the things that he said, you're going to come out here and try to defend him by saying that. You cannot be serious. Why would you even say that? That doesn't even make sense. How is someone like Adin Ross going to come around and try to start saying all these crazy things, and you say that there's other people that have done worse than him? Now, granted, there is other people that have said bad things. However, but to say that there's other people of color that should be punished more than Adin Ross is a crazy take all around.
As far as content creators that talk crazy, like Adin Ross might be on the bottom of the list. Like if you happen to bump into Adin at Wegmans or something, it's like, yo, let's get him by the grapes. You know what I'm saying? But like, it's some black dudes that's above that they need to get in their face before Adin Ross. Like, come on, man. That's all I'm saying. Just before Adin, it's some other names that got to get.
What's up, word? Your boy Charles Brown back again talking facts. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Keep sending those Cashaps to CLBMG. Join the membership. And all you buying that merch down below. Gang, listen. Some things are predictable. Maul defending Adin Ross is predictable. I told you that Maul loves to pillow talk with Drake on his waterbed with his feet up, on the phone, rolling around on his belly, listening to the nonsense that Drake spews to him, such as I was offered the Super Bowl 3 times, to which the NFL immediately came out and said Drake was never offered the Super Bowl officially or unofficially, but Maul was the only one spewing that because he wanted to diminish Kendrick's contributions of receiving a nod to perform at the Super Bowl. Maul is a 100% Drake stan, junkie, fan and flunky, right? And we've seen Maul stretch and go to leaps and bounds to defend Drake's honor at all costs. Well, now Maul is caught in the crossfire because, he doesn't really care, but he's caught in the crossfire because one of Drake's supporters and friends, a guy that hands down has nothing but Drake's best interest in heart, Adin Ross, who is a closeted racist and someone who people like to think of as the voice of evil at this point. And we've had a full-on campaign. We saw Glasses Malone and others tell Adin Ross in no uncertain terms to leave that black woman's name out his mouth, to which he finally caved after a whole lot of disrespectful language, a whole lot of race baiting, telling Glasses Malone, who has no kids, to go take care of his kids and his baby mama. He said that he pretty much thought that the guy was dumb and old and ugly, had nothing but bad things to say to Glasses Malone, who was only standing up for this woman's virtue, right? So end of the day, we got Rory and Maul, or rather Maul, on an interview with Bagfuel, the podcast, and Rory this time was surprisingly quiet, but at some point, Maul, you give him enough time, he's going to say something dumb, especially if you give him enough Drake bait. He's going to try to bring out some Kendrick hate, and by default, anybody that is being attacked by people who like Kendrick. So I guess it came up about the Adin Ross issue with Doechii and how Adin Ross was speaking ill of a black woman. And Maul, who has absolutely no allegiance to his race, apparently Maul is related to Kareem Biggs. I believe Maul might even be, I could be wrong, but Maul might be Muslim. I'm not sure, but I'm sure that there is some form of backstory with Maul where there is a connection to black culture to a degree, and Maul has forsaken all of that because it feels like no matter what, Maul is going to align with anything that will get him $1, right? Anything in allegiance with Drake. When Rory had his issues with black women, Maul was right there to condescend, to send backhanded comments, and to chuckle and laugh and make light of the situation, take no accountability. His only answer or response to Rory was, I bet you won't get in those chats again and have this conversation with those people as if these people are beneath him. He really had nothing really to offer to the conversation because he thought the conversation was dumb about Rory's previous tweets. When Rory had so many horrible, horrific tweets and posts in regards to black women and black people that he ultimately deleted his Twitter, and Damaris became a casualty of that exchange because she deleted hers. They both got attacked so much by black people online that they almost went into hiding. He did an apology tape, video, and that made it even worse. And he had Maul sitting there, goony Google, looking just as dumb as ever, not making anything make any sense. He's sitting there trying to bait and goad more of Rory into saying even worse things because Maul has no respect for his race or his culture. He does not care because those aren't the people that pay him, believe it or not. Rory and Maul's subscribers only went down 1,000, gang. That tells you that the people that subscribe to them do not care about what we feel over here on this side. Now, their numbers are down because the show's just awful in the first place. But at the end of the day, they didn't really feel the need to really apologize. Maul had no reason to apologize to you because he doesn't think you're his demo anyway. Right? You're all Kendrick fans, you're K-bots, and he could care less what you think. So here we are again. He goes on Bagfuel, and he's once again asked about this. This conversation is not about a black woman to Maul. This conversation is about Doechii, who signed a TDE, who are in conjunction with Kendrick Lamar, who don't like Drake. This conversation has nothing to do with black or white to him. This conversation is about Adin Ross taking shots at Doechii. And that's how a lot of these guys can separate this these days, because they don't put, a lot of guys aren't putting race into the equation because they don't want to. They've been trained over the last couple, I want to say 10, 15 years to remove race because they're being trained to. They're being lulled into this false sense of security that we're all equal for some reason. And they're starting to feel like, well, if the guy is saying something about the woman, let me find out what she did. Let me find out if she really deserves it. And if I deem that she deserves it, right? Let's be honest, Doechii don't deserve what Adin Ross was saying about her. In any scenario, she's an industry plant. She pays for bots, all of this stuff. She yelled at her workers. She don't deserve to be called a dirty, smelly bitch. Okay, by no accounts. So no, Maul, there is no right or wrong with this in regards to Adin Ross and what he said. It's just wrong. Ain't no or. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. But Maul doesn't care because it gets back to Drake, the bubble bath rapper, where he got to take his shirt off and roll around on his stomach for an hour with a silk headband on, talking to Drake on the phone. Okay, that's all that matters. So he knows when he talked to Drake tonight about this interview on Bagfuel, he has to defend Drake and by extension defend Adin Ross. So Maul goes on here and starts to make light of it and says that Adin Ross shouldn't be your top priority when it comes to the black culture being disrespected or people racially charging us and rage baiting us and dog whistling and all this other stuff that Adin Ross has been doing for years. Nick Fuentes and everything else. Adin Ross has come to the aid of everyone that has had a controversial thing to say about black people that I can think of. I remember he came to the aid of some streamer who was using the N-word, and he was like, it's fine. If he's saying it, if he's not being mean to you in a certain kind of way. He broke down 7 different ways that the white guy can say the N-word with the hard R. right? So Adin Ross has never leaned toward us. But for some reason, he's surrounded by black people like Cuffem and this, that, and the third, and they get money with him. So that's the number one thing that matters. It don't matter that your people aren't getting money with him. It matters that you do. So here we are. We got Maul once again caping for a guy that he has no business caping for. He caped for Rory, never once said, you know what, Rory, you're wrong. You know what he told Rory? He said, you know what you did wrong? You win that chat group. You win that Twitter space. Because you should have never did that. You have nothing to be sorry for. Maul told Rory in no uncertain terms, you did nothing wrong. So here we are again to ask Maul if Adin Ross is right or wrong. It's the pot calling the kettle black. He agrees with him. He agrees with what he said about Doechii. Maul has nothing good to say about that woman anyway. And we're not trying. They get in my comments. Why are you trying to make Doechii a saint? So you got to be a saint to get somebody to say, hold up, B, chill out. You got to be a saint. So we're looking for saints now. And you know what a saint is? No one on earth is a saint. So basically you're saying, don't defend none of these women. When you say that to me, right? Guess what? Your mom ain't even a saint, gang. So I don't know where we're getting this. Is Doechii a saint? No, she ain't a saint. Who is? But the simple fact of the matter is, when a white guy, this is the second white guy that Maul is jumping in front of, trying to downplay it. When a white guy is talking really spicy about a black woman, that goes back to centuries of hate. That goes back to a dominant thing, a thing where I'm dominant, you're not. And I can look at you a certain kind of way, and I can say a certain kind of thing about you, and it don't mean shit to me. And you don't mean shit to me. That's why I can talk and say all these things, and your male counterparts will defend me. And here comes Maul right on time. Esso of all people is telling Maul, you're wrong. And Maul is making it like this guy did some kind of you can say it's questionable, but he ain't the most questionable the way you guys are acting. So at this point, we ain't supposed to say nothing to him. We need to get to Stephen A. Smith or somebody else first. Right? He starts doing the whataboutism. What about that black guy? This black guy. This is the worst kind of black guy because he wants to put the focus on black people when a white person does something wrong. These are the people that say, well, what about Chicago when a white cop shoots a black guy in his car that did nothing wrong? Or they run up in the wrong lady's house and they shoot her, right? Or they shoot a guy having a mental breakdown that had his hands in the air, but he charges him anyway and they shoot and kill him. It was no reason to do it. But a guy like Maul would say, well, what about Chicago? They're killing people every day over there, aren't they? Fix your house first. This the kind of shit that a racist would say. And Maul is right there with it because he agrees with them. He has no self-respect. At this point, Maul has no self-respect. He doesn't defend any of our interests at all. If it aligns with Drake, and let's be honest, most of Drake's interests don't align with what we got going on. That's why the culture is having issues with Drake. Drake don't speak for us. He don't speak to us most of the time. That's why it's kind of odd when you see ultra-black people taking up for Drake like a Dr. Umar, right? It's kind of weird. But at the end of the day, it happens. This is the world we live in. And Maul is in that world. And we got to watch Maul degrade himself and lower himself as if he's some kind of guy that lives in a house looking through the blinds at all the field niggas out there with their fists in the air mad at Massa. Because he ain't out there with us. Maul gets a nice size check at this point. Maul gonna go to Netflix and do his song and dance over there. He ain't messing up his bag whatsoever. He ain't going to tell you Adin Ross is wrong because half them people at Netflix probably think just like Adin Ross. Okay? I know I'm pushing it now. I know I'm pushing some buttons I probably shouldn't be pushing, but I got to say it, gang. It is what it is. So Maul knows where his bread is buttered. He's not going to get too saucy on this race issue. Matter of fact, Maul will go out here and downplay the race issue before he tells you somebody did something wrong racially. Instead of saying, yo, you know what, bro? Adin Ross did too much, da-da-da-da. I didn't hear Maul say that. I heard Maul deflecting and trying to turn it back on the black community itself. You victimize the victim. If you give him long enough to talk about Doechii, probably 5 minutes in, he gonna call her a smelly bitch's goddamn self. Because it's not about being on the side of your race. You were brought over here in chains, gang. I don't know if Maul knows that. Your ancestors were running through woods for freedom. They were jumping off the side of these ships to survive, to die rather than be slaves. You're here from that tree. And for years, hundreds of years, you had a real problem being your skin tone. So for you to sit here in 2026, when you're kind of free, and you have the ability to make money and use your voice, you want to sit here and defend a guy who literally is going right back to some pickaninny shut up shit and calling this girl a smelly dumb bitch because he don't like her, because she is on a label that is against a guy that he has business dealings with. And yes, Adin Ross and Drake have business dealings with. They do gambling. They get paid a lot of money to do so. Maul has some kind of affinity he's gained for Drake, because it used to didn't be like this with Maul and Drake. But out of nowhere, since this battle popped off, Maul can't do anything other than defend Drake and the people around Drake. So now we got this version of Maul that makes no sense to most people. To people that's logical, right? Maul, the darkest nigga that ever been in a house I've ever seen, but he loves it in that house. So he's cozying up and snuggling up to the point he'll risk his relationship with everybody in the field because he doesn't need you. Doesn't care what you think. So for him to sit up in that house and tell you Adin Ross ain't that bad, Massa ain't that bad, this is what he's trying to tell you. You got to understand and read between the lines. He doesn't care what you think. That's why he's laughing. Every time you see Maul talking about these issues, it's funny. Because he knows you really can't do nothing. His show going to keep going. He's going to get his bag on Netflix, and he's going to sit up and talk to Drake every goddamn night when Drake has the time to talk to him. So at the end of the day, we're seeing a man so detached from his race, he will never say nothing bad about Adin Ross. He's on the side of where the bag come from, wherever the money come from. Wherever he feels that's where everything is all good, he's going to be over there. Every time I see a clip with this guy, he's saying some off-the-wall shit that is unrelated to the culture or the opposite of the culture. A fake-ass contrarian that's always trying to be slick and sly and say some shit, and it's always dumb. Even when he talk about relationship shit, he's always dumb and he's always on the wrong side of shit. So for us to look to Maul for any reason, it makes no sense to do it. But we are going to call you out when you're wrong, and you're wrong. Adin Ross should be at the top of the list because he runs with everybody that you're saying should be up there. And then for you to bounce it back on black people makes it even worse. We ain't perfect and you ain't either. And that nigga damn sure ain't perfect. So at the end of the day, for you to sit up here and try to deflect and say it's way more black people you should be going at than Adin Ross, I wish I could know who he was talking about, but I don't care because the whole community is telling you right now our focus is this. He hits you with the whataboutism means he's trying to deflect you from looking at this guy. Adin Ross just himself decided he's done talking about Doechii. He's not going to talk about her no more. I wonder why. The pressure's getting on. Maul don't have the same pressure, so he's still out here with the nonsense, and the spotlight's not on him. But it's not on him because he's so dumb he won't even see the lights coming at him. He doesn't pay attention to things other than his stupid ass opinion, his dumb ass comments, and that god awful show that he's on, which is starting to tape. But he doesn't care because they just got a Netflix deal, right? Now we've seen a lot of guys that are stars on YouTube go to Showtime and not be such stars that they thought they were, and the shit falls flat, and then they break up. But good luck to you guys. Hope you make it. All right? End of the day, man, I'm done with this nonsense. Every time I do a story on Maul, they get worse and worse. He degrades himself lower and lower to get these belly rubs from Drake. End of the day, my G, you're cooked, he's cooked, and the whole shit is cooked. Ain't enough money to get back your self-respect, and your dignity is shot. And I don't know what bitch would date your ass. I'm just gonna be fucking honest. I'm done, man. I'm out. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine. Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.
my coat, get my sheepskin, grab my wallet, get my pocket knife, and get that hat right there. We out. Grab my pocket knife too. Let's go. When I first came to the city, niggas didn't believe me. I just wanted to join a team and throw assist pass easily. 6 man off the bench, alley-oop pass freely. Suit up for one game and hope a scout might see me. But nah, niggas is greedy, wasn't rocking with him. Unplugged the scoreboard, put a lock on the gym. Told me to power forward, point guard at the rim. And left me with no center and a ball full of phlegm. Not knowing that I'm a dog, a Rottweiler within, with the heart of a pit bull that don't bark for pretend. My bites cut deep, break the bone and the skin. With the level of hustlenomics you do not comprehend. So first I took a block down on the west side end, and then secured a spot with some goons and some kin. And then sent out some flyers, let the games begin. And in 6 months time, the city like that's him. Oh yeah, he the one that moved the hustle to the burbs. And yeah, he the one that knocked the hustlers off the curb. And yeah, he the one that set up shop without a word. And he the one that got it cracking, and all he did was rapping by the Hooters. I kept killers from being shooters. Put a mic in a thug's hand, now he loyal like past fans. Take a man off the streets past the needles and crack cans. Promise mama to keep him safe, then put some food in his face, and he'll kill for you. But I don't need him for that. Click like, click share, tell them bitches we back. Share the whole location, tell them niggas where we at. Cause we out here, and we ain't the cheese, we the trap.